Welcome everyone, I'm Mayor Mike and we're doing a segment now called Alder Spotlight, giving everyone an opportunity to meet their alderpersons or meet other alderpersons. And today with me we have our 9th District Alder, Mary McComb. Welcome, Mary.
Thanks, Mayor Mike. I'm happy to be here.
So, Mary, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Stevens Point, and I left for, I finished college here, and I left for several years and in various careers. And then 13 years ago, I got really homesick. Actually, I was always homesick for Stevens Point, but career took me other places. So I decided to move back, and I ended up living in the 9th District. Okay. I opened a candy and stationery store downtown, and I was involved in some downtown matters and some historic preservation matters. And I was approached by somebody a couple people actually, who thought that I would be a good alderperson. So I decided to run, and I won, and then I won again. And it's more enjoyable than I ever imagined it would be.
Yeah. So what sorts of things did you do in your previous life prior to pre-Alder, I suppose?
Pre-Alder. I worked actually in television and public television down in Mississippi. Okay. And I was the first female camera person on the camera crew, and, wow. And that was exciting. We did some national broadcasts. And then I moved up to Superior, worked at the university for a while in media. Then for my midlife crisis, I went to graduate school at Penn State and earned a master's degree in adult education and a PhD in speech communication. And then I taught full-time for about 13 years before I came back to Stevens Point. So. Okay,
good. You know, and people ask me all the time, you know, what qualifications do you need to be an alderperson? And I always tell them, you really just need to care about your community and have a passion. Mm-hmm. Everything else can be learned, the Robert's Rules of Order and the meetings and the open meetings and those sorts of things. That can all be learned, but mm-hmm. the desire to want to improve your community is something that you can't really learn, and you have to have to be an alder. Yeah. So what made you say, hey, I think being an alderperson might be a good idea, let's give it a shot?
Well, I'm from here. Mm-hmm. I grew up here, and I was away, so I had something to compare Stevens Point to, different places I lived, and I was chronically homesick. Yeah. The whole time I was away, and I returned home at least once a year and spent a couple weeks with my family. So I always cared about Stevens Point. I as soon as the Portage County Gazette came out, my father had sent me a subscription. Okay. And I realized what a special town this was, what a special city. So, and I have roots here, yeah. And
well, it's that desire that we talked about, the passion.
And I had, I knew that some skills I had developed in my career would help. I like to research. I studied rhetoric, so I like the whole process of working things out with other people in the city. Mm-hmm. And but you're right, it's mostly that I love this town.
Yeah, yeah. Good. So the 9th District is the district you represent. Can you give our listeners and viewers a general idea of the boundaries? I know that they follow a lot of different streets, and you can see all of those specific lines at stevenspoint.com, but generally speaking, what's the 9th District?
The 9th District is really interesting because we'll start with the west side of the river. The whole Stevens Point on the west side of the river, okay, is the 9th District. Mm-hmm. And then you cross the bridge, and it runs for a few blocks down Clark. Then it goes down to Ellis. Then it goes down to Ellis. Okay. Then it goes down to the middle of Plover Street. Okay. And then it goes on Division Street all the way down to Whiting Avenue. Okay. And then Whiting Avenue to the river, and then all that boundary inside. So it includes, the old Jern's furniture, not Jern's, mm-hmm, the furniture place, and, 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 Oh, we've got CAP Services is in there.
You're talking about the Vetter building?
The Vetter building, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, Vetter Windows.
Vetter Windows, Cooper Oil. We have got 2 of Stevens Point's soft serve places.
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
Yes, and the Democratic headquarters. We've got, and I forget their new name, we've got Northwind Renewable Energy Co-op is on the other side of the river. We have the city county, Mead Park.
Yep. You've got actually several parks in your district. What's the other one down West River Drive? I'm not going to remember the name of it, but it's a smaller, it's a smaller park. Mead is the one everybody knows about because of the Cash Playground.
Yeah.
You've got the newly commissioned Shelkey Horseshoe Courts that are there.
We do, yeah.
So that's a nice park.
Yeah, yeah.
So go ahead. What are the other things about the 9th District that are unique to the city of Stevens Point?
Well, it's an old district. I live, for instance, in a home that's was built in 1890.
Okay.
And I like history. I love Stevens Point history. So I like walking the streets and thinking about how long these streets have been there and how long some of these homes have been there. And as I said, I've got both sides of the river, and I just think that's really nice. When I grew up, we never went to the west side of the river. And so I now have reasons to be over there, and that's a wonderful neighborhood over there. It's like a little rural neighborhood in the middle of Stevens Point. So it's just, it's great. We've got the south side, the south side business district, but closer in by the railroad station. We've got some business owners down there, Octaviano's, Kubi's Bar, The Beat, Skip's Bowl, and they're trying to develop more of a neighborhoody type feel down there. But I like the fact that on a night when I don't want to cook, I can walk down, eat dinner at one of those places, go have a drink at Kubi's, go bowl if I want to.
Sure.
But it's nice. It's a real neighborhood.
Yeah, good. So what are some of the things that you want to see as far as improvements or enhancements to the 9th District?
I don't hear much from people. I know I do hear from some people on the west side about some of they have some drainage issues over there, and of course everybody did during the storm. Some concerns about the traffic around the boat launch at Mead.
Okay.
I don't hear too much from people. I do know that Octaviano's and Kubi's want to extend the sidewalk cafe ordinance down
similar to what we have downtown where
and
we
I'm
have
going to
dining
be
outside. Okay.
working on that with them. And I don't hear too much.
How about goals for the city? Generally speaking, as a common council, we have 11 alders, and we have to make some pretty significant decisions for the city. Are there any goals that you have as an alderperson that you want to see anywhere in the city?
Well, one of my goals from the very beginning was I am really hoping that we'll see Division Street between the underpass and about, 4th Avenue. I hope we'll see it in a 4 to 3 confirmation. I know from walking my dog that it's real hard to walk across Division Street. I never walk along Division Street. It's just a gully of scary traffic. So that's one of my goals.
So the 4-3 conversion is taking 4 lanes of traffic and converting them or road diet, however you want to call it, lane reduction, down to 3 lanes, which would be 1 lane north, 1 lane south, and then a turn lane in the middle for left turns.
And then bike lanes on either side. So it really calms down traffic. And it's also it reduces accidents. So that's one of my goals.
Okay.
In general, because we're close to downtown, I'm really hoping for more good developments downtown as well.
Good. Well, Mary, that's about all the time we have for
Already?
this segment. But if people want to get a hold of you as their alderperson, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, can I give my phone number?
If you choose to give your phone number, you certainly can.
I will give my phone number. It's 715
Mm-hmm.
570 8836.
Okay.
That's my personal phone number.
Okay.
They can reach me through the city website.
Okay.
Some people do come into my shop.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm too busy to really talk
Right.
then. And I do have open forums or listening sessions from time to time, but I'm always happy to get calls and emails, and
Good.
I'm responsive.
And you can always email your alders at district, in this case, District
Right,
9
yeah.
at stevenspoint.com.
That's
District
right.
9 at stevenspoint.com. Your
Yes.
alderperson, whatever district you're in, it will be that district number at stevenspoint.com. We set that up not too long ago.
Yeah, yeah.
We're also working on standardized phone numbers, too.
Oh,
so,
cool.
thank you very much for joining me,
Well,
Mary. And
thank
we
you,
hope to have
Mayor
you on.
Mike.
Hope to have you on again soon. Till next time, I'm Mayor Mike, and this has been the Alder Spotlight.